You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys. Well, good morning. Well, guys, today, super excited about having another great guest interview lined up for you guys. We've got none other than Caleb Nguyen here with Yellow Hat Mowers. So, Caleb, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Hey, you bet, brother. Hey, did I get the last name right on the first go-around?
You did. You know, pretty close. But it's kind of hard to get it spot on the first time.
There you go. Well, you guys have all different names, same ways to say it. I'm learning all the way around. It's pretty wild to just have so many different people on the show from all across the country. Caleb, where are you living? Where are you located?
So I'm out in Syracuse, New York, which is just kind of central New York. So about four hours north of the city, and it's just kind of like right smack in the middle of the state. New York State. Okay.
Now, do you guys ever go down to the big city or no?
I've been once, but it was kind of weird, and we haven't been back since COVID.
Okay. I've always wanted to go to New York City like at least once to just like kind of check it out. Over the last few years, that interest has waned even more. But it does seem like a cool place to visit at least once. It's just a concrete jungle, and I don't know. I'm hoping it's as cool as Casey Neistat makes it out to be on his vlogs. You know what I mean? So
it's all right.
There you go. So you guys are you guys more like rural, or are you guys more suburbia? You're 4 hours away from there, but what the city that you live in, what's it look like there?
It's probably one of the larger cities in New York State, besides obviously New York City. But it's pretty, where I live, it's more like suburbia. We're probably, I mean, I have some properties that are like in downtown Syracuse, but we're probably a 10-minute drive from 10-minute drive from downtown. Okay. But we're in kind of like the outskirts in the suburban areas. And then if you go even further, then it gets a little bit more rural.
Okay. Gotcha. Now, we'll back up really quick here, just for timestamp and just to get people in the lay of the land. How old are you again? How did you get started in business, and what are things looking like today? We'll get the kind of the 2-minute highlight reel here.
Okay. So I'm 17 years old. I really got started when I was 14. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew that somebody that we had a connection with had mowed lawns. Okay. And in my mind, being very competitive, I was just like, well, I can do that, and I could probably do it better than him. So I did that the first year, and I only had like 2 or 3 clients. Like the first year, it was a pretty big flop. And the next year was just kind of more the same. I got a part-time job, and I was like maxing out hours there. I was making a good bit of money doing that. And then I was kind of sick of the part-time job because I started reading books like we talked before the show, Robert Kiyosaki. I've read his, like almost all of his books, or just like a bunch of business books. And I was like, I think I could pull this off. Sure. The next year, I did not have my driver's license, but I went and I hitched up like a little trailer to my bicycle. I went out and I bought like all this electric like mowers and all this stuff because it was super light, stuffed it in the trailer. And I biked around, and I had about 40 clients doing that at 16.
Wow.
And then I saved up enough money, and I reinvested, over $25,000 into the business this year. Truck, trailer, 0 turns, the whole kit. And now we've got 6 guys working for me, the truck, the trailer, the 0 turns, and around 120 accounts right now.
Wow. And again, you're 17 years old.
Yeah.
Man, that is crazy. And so is all of your equipment electric, or how have you progressed through the whole evolution of your equipment and setup over the last couple of years?
Yeah, so the first year I literally just had a mower. I wouldn't even do string trimming or anything like that. Second year was more the same because I brought a broom with me to about the property.
Yeah.
And then the third year was the year that I bought all like the electric stuff, and that was kind of like part of my branding. That's when I changed the name to Yellow Hat Mowers, which is actually pretty well known in our neighborhood and in our area now. Excuse me. But we had all electric for about a year. And then coming into this year, I knew I couldn't get like reasonably priced 0 turns that were electric or anything like that. So I just went out and I got gas stuff for that, but we kept all like the string trimmers and the blowers and stuff electric. Okay. And then just yesterday, I think our final electric weed whacker just bit the dust. So I have like 3 new Echo 2620 string trimmers on order at the dealership. Cool. And then we're going all gas now. So everything just kind of broke. And so that's kind of how the cards fell. So
yeah.
We have to move it again. So
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So you, how long have you actually been cutting grass and being out in the field and getting like your first customer? To have 100+ accounts and have 5 or 6 guys working for you part time, full time. That's some pretty stout growth. So what did the evolution of that look like? When did you start the whole company?
And the 4th year was when I brought on all the guys. And honestly, we had like 8 guys in the summer, but then some guys left for college, some guys got laid off and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, cool deal, man. Well, this is really exciting stuff. I want to kind of press in a little bit more. I want to talk to you a little bit more about the battery equipment, talk to you about how you got started with that, see if it's ever going to come full circle and see if it'll be back into the lineup here in just a quick second. We're going to take a quick good old sip of water here and hear from today's show sponsors announcements, guys. So hang tight and we'll come right on back.
Entrepreneur Academy Live is back and better than ever. LAL 22 Live. Saturday, November 12th in Novi, Michigan. Join 400 fellow entrepreneurs and learn from some of the best in the industry at this powerful conference that will help you grow your business. Speakers include James Mansky, Mike Andes, Paver Pete, Troy Clogg, Nick Carlson, and Mark Bradley of LMN, just to name a few. Get your ticket now for the early bird price of $197. The price goes up the end of September. Your ticket covers access to the conference, lunch on Saturday, and free admission to the Friday night go-kart races. It's going to be so much fun. We'll see you in Novi, Michigan, Saturday, November 12th. LAL 22 Live. Sponsored by Xmark, Ballard Products, Sure Track, Kelly & Sons Trailers, and Yard Book. Grab your ticket now at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com.
All right, Caleb. So we're headed back your way, man. And I want to hear a little bit more about your story. Actually, really quick, guys, before we jump into it. Actually recording this podcast interview in the morning, and I have the good old Uptime energy drink, so my voice is still waking up. But if you guys know these Uptimes, they're like a metal can, Caleb. And so I'm like rationing off the lid, and it caught. I don't even know. It didn't really come all the way off, and so like I kind of tipped it over. Now I've got Uptime energy drink juice spilling all over my my legs. So
nice.
This is what happens, man. We come in hot, and this it is what it is. So I'm laughing. I'm just like, why is like the little metal? It's diagonal, and so like it's not fully closed. So that's way to go, Uptime. These things don't crack off very well. So, all right. Hashtag not sponsored, but if anybody at Uptime, anybody knows somebody that knows somebody, right? Holler at your boy. So the whole electric thing. And okay, let's go back to the yellow hat name. I'm kind of curious about that too. What's the yellow hat? Were you wearing a yellow hat? Is it that simple, or something? Did it mean something?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I don't think I've ever talked to anybody about it before, but when I was younger, I played baseball, and I was always on like the yellow team. So I had like this overabundance of yellow hats, and I was very like nostalgic. I moved from where I was living before in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, when I was like 10-ish.
Okay.
And I was very nostalgic. I like loved our baseball team. We won some championships. We were a pretty decent team. I was not decent, but the team was. And so I kept the hats, and I would just wear them all the time. And I had like a YouTube channel for a while called Yellow Hat Exotics. I love exotic cards. I was going to like shows and stuff like that. And it was just like yellow hat. And I had like this lawn mowing thing. I can't even say the name because the name was like literally like our street name, Mowers.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just not a very creative name. And my mom was like, why don't you change the name to Yellow Hat Mowers? Because like you wear this yellow hat all the time and you guys mow lawns. I was like, all right, you know what? That's a fine idea. And now it works fantastic because I don't have to buy guys like really crazy uniforms, just Fruit of the Loom t-shirts from Walmart. And they can just wear the hat. When people drive by, they know it's us.
That's funny. That's funny.
And it's very memorable. It's really unusual.
Have you went through all of your yellow hats now? Are you buying more yellow hats, or do you still have some from your supply?
So I went out and I splurged a little bit. I spent like $400 on these custom. You had to buy like a bulk shipment for these custom hats.
Okay.
And so I have a couple dozen of these. It was done by like custom patch hats or something like that. And I mean, they're super high quality. They're like patch hats. So that has like a patch with our logo on it, and then just like baseball caps.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So are you sticking with the name for the most part for right now, or do you foresee a name change in the future?
No, I think it's a really good name. I don't want to change it to my last name because if I ever wanted to sell it, it wouldn't work well. or if we ever grew outside of our immediate region, it wouldn't work well if we named it just for our area. So I think it keeps us pretty flexible.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. It's always funny. I love hearing the name and the origin story of, like, you know, how did you come up with all of that, you know? Let me go back to the electric thing in the beginning, because when you were younger, like you said, you were just mowing, figuring it out, making a name for yourself, learning. What was the electric thing something that you were just sold out to, that you were passionate about? Did you get a good deal on a mower and you're like, hey, this electric thing might be our shtick? What was your thought process with going all electric in the beginning?
So part of it was definitely, I wanted to create a brand that was really, really one of my focuses, especially when I had a decent name. And honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, my reasoning for getting like the electric stuff wasn't super fantastic. It's the DeWalt stuff, so it's yellow, so it really fits with the yellow hat mowers.
Yeah.
So that was kind of part of my reason. And I was like, I bet you DeWalt's going to have better resale value for their power equipment. Lo and behold, it all broke anyway. So not much there. Last year I bought like two whackers, 2 push mowers and stuff like that. And the reason why was I thought it would be just like a good branding, good marketing thing to have like all electric. I wasn't really thinking about the scale. I was like, yeah, we could probably scale it. You know, the industry's moving quickly in this direction. And I really thought that was something that I could do. And now I'm like, oh, geez, this like $30,000 lawnmowers. I'm not really into that.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Well, and that was what I was going to ask. I was going to press you a little bit and be like, hey, so are you guys going to go like the Mean Green route or Greenworks or like Ego or, you know, some of the other big names? They're moving the battery product too. But it's still expensive, man. And I did a couple of videos on YouTube. I don't know if you saw those with the steel product.
I did, yeah.
Dude, the performance was there. Like, it was really awesome. The downside was it lasted about 20 minutes. And I got some guys like, well, you don't have to keep feathering the trimmer, and you know, you don't have to. And I'm just like, dude, there's no way. Okay, even if I didn't feather the trimmer, you know, like with a gas engine, sometimes you got to like feather them to keep them running because they get older. Yeah. So it's just a habit of mine. And any which way, long story short, I said, dude, they still got a ways to go until I can get an 8-10 hour runtime out of them, or at least 5 or 6 hours. I mean, legit 5-6 hours. I saw a Bobcat a video commercial on Facebook. Actually, I was scrolling through Facebook, which I rarely do, but I'm just like snooping through Facebook. I'm like, yeah, I guess this is still a big platform. I should probably pay attention to it. And but there was like a Bobcat interview with some guy, and their Bobcat skid loader, 10 hours of charge time, 4 hours of runtime. And I was like, man, that's a tough sell to keep a piece of equipment only moving for 4 hours a day on a 12-hour work day, you know, or at least a 10-hour work day. So it's coming, it's coming, but some applications it makes sense, some it doesn't. But quick question for you. So did you have any pushback from any of your customers that signed up? Because the original song and dance was, hey, we're all electric. Any pushback now that you got some zero turns out there, or like a bunch of these 2620s? I mean, they sound like little mini dirt bikes, you know, and the 9010 leaf blower. Are you getting any pushback, or anybody going, hey, like, what happened to that battery stuff there, young man, you know?
Yeah. So last year we kept it like all electric, but when we moved into it this year, I let everyone know at the end of the season my intentions that we were not going to be able to afford to buy like electric zero turns and stuff like that.
Okay,
Everyone
sure.
was pretty understanding with that. There's a couple of clients who are very, very into the electric stuff. But the problem with them is there's literally nobody else in our area who has any electric equipment, no handheld tools, no nothing.
Okay.
So it's like I would literally be the only one. And now it's just like I'm just kind of like everybody else with it. But I don't really care because the convenience is there and I have my clients anyway. So we'll see what happens because the electric ones just bit the dust literally just yesterday.
Okay.
It just fizzled out and died. And I got to go pick up the new stuff on Monday. So
nice.
I don't know what's going to happen. I know that there's 3 or 4 clients who really would not be happy about it, and so I'm just going to call them up and say, "Hey, this is what we're doing. Everybody else is doing it."
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not opposed to the electric stuff. I have a lot of experience with the batteries. I mean, I had probably $2,000 worth of batteries just sitting in a crate in my basement, and the charging. If I forget to charge it for an extra hour when I come back, you know. Tomorrow was messed up. We can only do a half day. And it's just a lot more to think about. The power's not really there.
Sure.
I really don't like having to spend, you know, $300 on a weed whacker every couple of months. That's not what's really.
Well, and you could give them 2 prices and be like, hey, here's your weekly mow price. It's $55. If you want the all electric service, the white glove service, it's $110 weekly service. And then let them decide, put it back on them, you know?
Yeah, I thought about that, and I listened to the Landscaper Electrified podcast. I know you had him on the show.
Yeah,
and I listened to it, and he said that people pay more for it. In my experience, I've talked to people, and even those 3 or 4 people would only pay like $5 more a cut. So it's just not worth it for me overall.
Right. You have to find a very they say progressive but liberal area because it's just the way it is. I mean, that is what it is. I mean, there's not really any big political argument there. It's just like, hey, if you want to do all electric on Martha's Vineyard, they'll probably say yes. Paying for their $12 million home, I don't think they're going to care. Back in the woods, off the dirt road or off your subdivision home, people have budgets. They have, limited income. And you can press people and be like, hey, do you really care about the environment, or do you really care about the environment? Because when you give them the all green price and it's double the price, because that's what it's going to have to be. Like the mowers are double the price. It's just simple. Yeah. It's just simple math. I mean, it's not, you're not trying to stick them with it. It's just some of these electric mowers, like the Mean Greens, the Toros, the new ones that are coming out, they're $26,000, they're $30,000. And it is what it is. But I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea. I mean, I have a Tesla. I plug it in overnight. It's full battery the next day, arguably. You're ready to rock and roll. In theory, it makes sense. I'm not even going to go down the whole, environmental impact or whatever. But if you could keep your equipment running all day and then charge it all night, sure, rock and roll. And if you don't have to stop at gas stations, dude, that would be pretty dope. I think that would be the future. I mean, I'm not somebody that's like anti-battery or electric by any means. It's just the adoption of it and the technology of it and the cost of it. It just has to come down. I think that's still the probably the biggest bottleneck. I don't know. What do you think, Caleb?
Yeah, no, I would absolutely. If the price is the exact same thing or within 10, 20% of a gas equivalent, then I would 100% go buy it. Maintenance is less. Not having to go to the gas station. As long as it has enough battery life, it can charge overnight.
Yep.
Like, I don't really care. It's just when it's double the price and the quality of because generally the manufacturers who are making them, I know Gravely and Toro and all these guys are finally getting into it. But for the longest time, it was like Mean Green and a couple of other off brands that I'm not sure if the quality's all the way there. I've done my reading on them, and it's kind of a debate. So I don't know if it's worth it. Definitely not at this point. Probably within the next 5 to 10 years, 100%. But until then, I'm just going to do what makes sense for us now. So.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. That's cool. And again, like, I'm not anti, battery or electric. I want to be a believer just like the next guy. But it goes back to like that Bobcat ad that I saw on Facebook, and the comments they were like, they weren't like mean or negative. But there was like a couple hundred comments on that video and post, and people were just like, ripping it up. They said like, hey, 4 hours of work time. Like, I don't know what job site you're working on, but we need 10 hours minimum. And, if the numbers were reversed, 10 hours of usage, 4 hours of charge time, now we're talking. And nobody was like, this is dumb, screw this, stop pushing the stuff on us. We're like, hey, we're open to the conversation. Just the tech has to meet the need. And you know what I mean? Like, there's just right now, it's just not there. So, okay, well, let's do this. Let's shift gears. Let's talk about maybe marketing, getting customers. I love talking about growing the business. That's something that a lot of people listen to the show. How do I get new customers? How do I grow this thing? And I want to go to you because you're 17. You're probably getting, hey, you're too young, or hey, like, what kind of credibility do you have, or are you going to do a good job? How do you take payment? I want to hear from from the 12 to 17-year-old range. How has it been to get customers? What's worked for you? What have you guys used? Yard signs, postcards, flyers, word of mouth. Talk to me about getting to 110, 120 customers, because that's pretty stout.
Yeah. So there's a couple of ways. I know a lot of guys, especially me personally, whenever I was starting out, you don't have a lot of extra money to spend on this kind of stuff. But there are probably 3 or 4 different ways that you can market for free and get your name out there for free. However, you have to be a little bit on top of it in the beginning of the season. The first one would be Facebook community groups. A lot of areas have like a community group for their area. Mm-hmm. You just throw up your little slogan on there. Say, hey, we do lawn mowing. Here's a little slogan, a little picture of us. You could even just use a stock photo or whatever, and just put it up there, a month beforehand, then every 2 or 3 weeks until the season is fully underway. And I know guys who have gotten, 7 people every single time that they put something up there. Another one is Nextdoor app. I would not use the paid ads on Nextdoor app. I tried it. I spent like $250 and got 0 clients from that. But there's free ways of doing that. And then obviously word of mouth is really, really good. Incentivizing your current clients to spread the word. So that's for free stuff. I would say the number one paid way of doing it is Google Ads, because you're not paying for. So Google AdWords is just like you pay per click.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just put in your search words if they do lawn mowing near me, and you set your little area that you can service. That works fantastic. I know a couple of guys who they'll get dozens of phone calls a day during, the beginning season when everything's just kicking off.
Sure.
And they can pick and choose what they want, and they can charge the prices that they want. So Google Ads is huge. Facebook, the boosts and ads, they work okay too, because generally the demographic that owns a home and has their own property and is willing to pay for it is going to be on Facebook versus Instagram or TikTok or something like that.
Yep.
And then we also did for just kind of branding purposes, obviously magnets on the side of the truck. It's like $30 a magnet. You put them on the truck. You can take them off when you want.
Right.
And yard signs, I invested a lot of money in yard signs. And the good part about yard signs is there's like this, I don't know, there's like some sort of study that said when people see your stuff like 7 times is when they begin to trust you. And when they begin to trust you is when they would actually give you a call.
Sure.
So if my yard sign is, they pass it once on the way to work, once on the way back to work, how many days does it take for them to see it? And then what if they also see my thing on social media and they also see my truck? It's within 2 or 3 days, they trust me. So right off in the beginning of the season, I'm going to be picking up a lot of people from that. But yard signs is a big investment up front. But as long as people aren't stealing them, destroying them, which does happen, you can get a lot of money out of those. I would say I know I've seen on your website that you have like the flyers and stuff like that. Personally, I don't think flyers is the best bang for your buck. I think Google Ads is the better bang for your buck because you don't know who you're sending the flyer to.
Mm-hmm.
I spent $700 my first year. I had no idea what I was doing, and clearly I did not make back that money. I literally have I don't know why I haven't thrown them out yet, but in my closet, I have a box, just like a box of like thousands of these flyers
Mm-hmm.
that I just couldn't even afford to send out. And I just, kind of wasted the money. So I'd say Google, the online stuff, hit the online stuff first, get the free stuff first. And then I think yard signs is a really good way to kind of go from there.
Yeah, for sure. And that's I want to go back to what you said really quick about the Facebook thing, because you're so right. Like the demographic that we're all looking for, they're on Facebook. That's where I a couple years ago was like, Facebook's dead, and then I had a bunch of smart people around me say, Facebook's not dead, dude. Pay attention to Facebook, and because I'm like, no, it's for the parents. Well, a lot of my content is, catered to 18 to 35s. And of course we get the 12 to 40 is probably the main range, if you will. But when you're talking about the actual business, the most of our demographic, we're looking for the 30 to, what would you say, 50-year-old Caleb?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, I would say anywhere from late 20s to 50, year old dual income homeowner, or even like, widowed, wife, housewife that, not housewife, but working wife that, has got 1 or 2 kids that are teenagers. Like those are the people that need help. Those are the people that, need our service, no doubt. And so they're all day on Facebook, sharing stuff, posting stuff, tagging their aunts, their uncles, their cousins, their brothers and sisters, which would be our aunts and uncles, if you will. They live on Facebook. And so I love what you said there, like having a free Facebook page, running some Facebook ads even, or some Google ads. You can learn this stuff in, a couple hours. Everybody's got a buddy who's a wizard on Facebook or Google ads. So definitely spend some time there. The reason we have the $7 yard flyer is a lot of the younger kids love them. We sell those all the time on Entrepreneur Academy because it's $7. You customize the template for yourself, and those kids can have their mom run the Staples and go get 100 flyers made up, and those work for those young guys. And so, and you don't have to be 12 or 14 or 15 to use that template. I still use paper flyers all the time for falls, for cleanups and all that stuff. So you got to figure out what works for you, and sometimes marketing is burning through a little bit of cash to see what works for your area. I agree. Some guys love yard signs. The next guy in the truck right now goes, man, I bought 100 yard signs. All they did was get stolen. So I get it. And it's like, people are like, yard signs is the thing of the past. And then the next guy, man, I got 3 new snow clients that is worth $10,000, whatever, with 1 yard sign. And then the next guy, oh man, postcards are so 2001. And then the next guy is like, postcards changed my business, changed my life, And so marketing is a funny conversation like that. You just got to figure out what works for you, what works for your area. But I think what is true, no matter what, across all marketing channels, is what you did say, is that you have to get those repetitions in, those soft touches in, like you talked about 6, 7, 8 times, and then people will know, like, and trust and go, you know what? Yeah, we have seen that yellow hat yard sign before. I don't know where I've seen you before, but I know I've seen you before. And that's what you're looking for when they finally do have that need. They're going to pick up the phone and go, hey, Yellow Hat Mowers, hey, can I talk to Caleb? Because you're a known name around town. So is that what you've found over the years works, Caleb?
Yeah. We're pretty well known in our area, and most people don't even know it's me. Like I used to work at the grocery store, like at a local grocery store, and people would be like, "Oh yeah, Yellow Hat Mowers," and I'm like, "You guys have no idea that I'm actually the owner of Yellow Hat Mowers."
Right.
So it's kind of funny, and everybody knows it in our area primarily because of the yard sign. So
that's cool.
I agree. Do what works for you. It's just in my area, I found that try to find the ways that are the least expensive. Take advantage of the free stuff, the Facebook stuff, the social media stuff.
Yep.
Create a Google My Business page, that kind of stuff. Do that first, and then start trickling into the other stuff where you're spending money. Obviously, in the spring, it's kind of like a free for all, and that trickling in might be a couple of hours, between putting up the free stuff and going to the paid stuff. But
yeah, I love that, man. It's one of my friends. He says when you're shifting gears in a car, he said you want to make sure that when you're shifting gears in a manual that you're redlining the gear. You're at 6,000-7,000 RPM, whatever. You shift gears and you launch forward, you lunge forward. And he said the goal is to maximize out every gear. And so I love what you said there. Like before you jump into paid marketing, make sure you're revving the engine at 6,000-7,000 RPM with your free social media marketing. Like, have you posted once or twice a day on Instagram? Have you posted once or twice a day on Facebook? Have you posted once or twice a day on TikTok? Do you have a free Facebook page? Do you have a website? Most websites, yes, they're $1,500, but at the end of the day, you can make a free website for very, very nominal cost, and you can upgrade as you go. But I love what you said, like get the low hanging fruit, like just get your name out there. I love what you said earlier about the Facebook community posts. If you're in an HOA or you're, different work that you do around town, the buy sell groups, the marketplace groups, all that stuff, like that costs you no money. You can make those posts at 10 o'clock at night when you're done mowing. You don't have to do it at 2 o'clock and, when you're out mowing lawns all day. So those are some great ways, especially if you're younger. Like you don't have a lot of money to your name. You want to put it all into the nicer equipment to be more efficient. You don't have to spend a ton of money on marketing at the beginning. Caleb, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I would agree. Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Well, cool. Well, let's transition. Let's talk. We got about 4 or 5 more minutes here, and then I got to get running this morning. But let's talk about equipment. I want to know where is Yellow Hat Mowers going? What are you guys doing for equipment these days? You said you're picking up some Echo 2620s. You probably just got your license, your first truck, all that exciting stuff in the last 12, 18 months. So now you got wheels, so now you can zip around town. I know how transformative that is for you younger guys. At 15, 16, 17, you get your first whip, and now you're like, dude, just let me out, right? So where are you going with the business? What are you doing for equipment? Getting a big 0 turns, a couple crews. No right or wrong answer, but where do you see this thing over the next 12, 18, 24 months?
Yeah, so right now we have, my truck, I have a 2009 Ram 1500. I got the 5.7 Hemi, and I do have an exhaust on it. It's pretty loud, which, the clients aren't super happy about, but I do enjoy it. I've got a 16-foot trailer. I can't remember how wide. I think 7.5 feet wide.
Okay. And
we have 3 0 turns, some smaller stuff like 36-inch stuff, and then I got a 60-inch Hustler fast track that I picked up this spring, and then just like too many push mowers. So yeah. And then as for the handheld stuff, I just said that I'm getting all the 2620 gear, edger, 2-whackers, the PP90 10 backpack blowers. I know a lot of people from Steel are going to hate on me, but I do think it could quite possibly be the best one on the market right now.
Cool.
So I'm snagging that. Next 12 to 24 months. So right now, my goal is to maximize what we have. So I got like 4 areas in our business that we like to focus on. So weather, so making sure we have 4 days. So we try and get all of our work, however much work I can get in 4 days. Because if it rains 2 days, then I'm in big trouble if I book 6 days worth of work.
Sure. Yep.
So getting the weather right, getting the equipment right, mostly for 0 turns. I just picked up like a Hustler, like a trim star, so it's like a walk behind. It's got a wheel kit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you can just zip around the backyard.
Yeah. I've seen those. Those are cool.
Yeah. So we're getting just the equipment to the point where it's perfect. Everything is exactly where it needs to be, because I'm a big believer in maximizing what you have and building systems before you scale. I want to get this crew right, and I want it to be super profitable before I go and just buy another truck. I thought about doing it halfway through the year when we were starting to get swamped. And then all of a sudden, like immediately after, I said, yeah, maybe not the play. And I didn't do it. And it was a really good idea because it immediately, I mean, this summer was very, very hot. It went to about 100 degrees. Everything died. And if I had invested in that stuff, I'd be sitting on a whole lot of equipment and I'd be losing a whole lot of money right now. So just getting everything right, making sure that we have good guys going into the next year, getting guys signed on for next year now, getting all the equipment lined up, making sure that we just round the bases on that. I'm getting a new truck here. It depends on where the money's at. Maybe this winter or next spring, we're going to sell the Ram and we're going to snag a Raptor.
Nice.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. I'm really excited for that.
That is dope. Go the B&B route, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I always mess with B&B. I'm like, dude, you got a Raptor as your work truck? He's like, yeah. I mean, everybody's busted his balls for 5 years on social media, myself included. But you know what? Like, and it's not hating. It's just like, dude, really? And he's like, dude, it's my dream truck. Lay off. I'm like, all right. That's straight. But you know, I'm over here rocking $60,000 trucks too, like a moron. So, but you know, everybody's got their thing. We live in these trucks. Nobody has to justify anything to me. We live in these things. We want them to be nice. Work truck or otherwise, you know. I get it. Just take care of your trucks, make them look nice. That is really cool, and a lot of pearls of wisdom in there, because we've all been, hey, I'm going to start another crew, or I'm going to get another mower if I can just get another guy. And sometimes that spring rush is only 6-8 weeks long, and you just got to punch through. It's tough. It's long days, long hours, but you don't need to drop $10,000 to get another thing sitting around for 7, 8, 9 months. And I've done that. I'm sure somebody listening to the show's done that. Just sometimes you just have to muscle it out. And I was just saying something like that to Rob just the other day, because we're getting killed with just crazy fall growth right now. It's like a second spring rush, and we're like, dude, 3 more weeks of like just kind of grinding out these lawns, double cuts on some of them. But you know what? Another week or two, the weather's going to downshift, and then it's the home stretch, so October, and it's like just mow and blows. You don't have to trim half the time, So, but it's like, don't drop $10,000 on another mower if you don't have to, Let me do this one final pivot here. I want to ask, talking about your attitude, your mentality. How did you learn how to do what you're doing? What has been some like valuable resources for you over the last 5, 6, 7 years that you've been doing this to help you grow a business, learn entrepreneurship, learn the green industry? The reason I ask is, imagine this: there's a bunch of people listening to the show that are 12, 15, 18, 20, 25 years old. They want to start a lawn and landscape business for themselves. What have been some helpful resources for you, again, to learn the business, to learn the industry, and to get where you've gotten so far?
Yeah, the number one thing that I did was I would go to the library and be able to read books for free. So I did that all the time, like I said, when I was like 14, 15, and I realized that I could actually do something. I honestly didn't know much about like anything green industry related until like very recently I found your podcast, and I listened to all of them. Very recently found the Green Industry podcast and a bunch of other cool stuff like that.
Cool.
But that was all very recent. So I was just kind of winging it and like asking buddies that I knew, and I didn't know really what was out there. And then I saw your interviews with the Lawn Tourpreneur, whatever it was.
Oh yeah, the Lawnpreneur series. Yeah, with the teenagers. Yeah.
I saw that stuff and I was like, oh dude, that's killer. So, and now I've been following your stuff ever since. So, well, dude, that's awesome. Really good. Yeah. Can I plug myself here?
Yeah. Of course, 100%.
I'll shout out myself. So I do have a podcast as well that's kind of for this age range, for kind of the 12 to 17, 12 to 18 kind of range where you just get started out. And my goal is just to get you started, because really the overcoming the fear of starting and not making the huge mistakes up front, you're going to do really well, and you don't have to be too worried about it. So we're on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts, the Motivated Lawn Care Show. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all this stuff. I'm sure you'll link me below, but
yeah. It's
the website.
Well, really,
you could do
really quick. Hold on. What was the name of the show? Because I don't want to just gloss over that. Guys are listening to lawnmowers, trimmers, weed whackers, a lot of noise going on in the background. So I always have people say, "Hey, what was the name of that show?" So one more time, what was the name of the show, and where can they find it? Because I don't want to miss that.
Okay, yeah. So The Motivated. So MOWTIVATED. So Motivated.
Yeah.
Lawn Care Show.
The Motivated Lawn Care Show. I like that, man. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, and so we also have a website as well with we got like a free newsletter. You get all the exclusive. I got some like private YouTube videos and stuff like that. Just once a week, I send over some private YouTube videos to the guys who are a little bit more committed to making this thing happen. So
cool.
You can go check us out.
Awesome.
Motivated
Awesome.
W.com. So
that is so cool. You guys can go listen to the show. Say, "Hey, Caleb, I heard you on Brian's show." And there's so many people with these niche podcasts that I love shouting them out. I love whatever I can do to help you guys grow. I'm always trying to just share and promote and just give and so into other people, man. So that's pretty cool. There was these guys on Instagram, Ninja something or Ginja, I don't know. Somebody's got this other podcast, Lawn Care podcast. I got to find out who it is because they have these like reels and shorts that keep popping up on my Instagram. But those guys have great audio, great video with their podcast. A little bit older guys, they're like 18 to 24 maybe. But they have another podcast going on. I wish I remember the name. But I love hearing the podcast where we're all on our mowers 8, 10, 12 hours a day. I mean, you can listen to 8 or 10 different podcasts. I mean, lawn care ones to business, financial, political, spiritual, I mean, I listen to a bunch of stuff all day while I'm on my mower. Just go through my library of all the different podcasts I'm followed or subscribed to, if you will. So that's really, really cool, man. Well, here we got to shut it down right now. I got to get running here myself. But real quick, where can they find you outside of the podcast? And any parting thoughts you want to button this thing up with?
Yeah, if you want to, we're the company itself. You can look us up you can just Google us and you'll see our Google business profile. We're on Facebook, Instagram, all that deal, at Yellow Hat Mowers. And then what was the other thing that you wanted me to do?
Where can they find you? And then I was just going to say any parting thoughts that you got.
Okay.
Your best piece of advice.
Okay. Number one thing is get started and grind it out for a little bit. There's a lot of reinvestment that I didn't do and I regret now that I look at some of the other guys who are doing really, really well for themselves, even at my age.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference between them and me, who's still kind of like, I'm just buying this Echo stuff. I should have bought that like a year ago or figured stuff out sooner, is that they reinvested from the beginning. So when you see them driving their Camaros and jet skis and they've got their new, $30,000 trucks, you understand that they reinvested and they really grinded it out and, they're really committed to it.
I love that. Yeah. and I would say outside of investing in equipment, invest in yourself, because that has made the biggest difference for me is investing in education. I mean, from coaching calls to training programs, and I have stuff to sell you guys. Well, I'm not here to sell you guys is what I'm trying to say. I spend tons and tons of money. I mean, tons of money on education and coaching calls with other people at many hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars per hour. Okay. So yeah. I like what you said, like invest in equipment, reinvest in the business, and the business is you are the business. So whatever that looks like, I think that is something that, here's the funny thing, Caleb. People have no problem going to college and spending $80,000 on stuff that literally, arguably, doesn't help you. And then somebody else, you could literally buy somebody's best thoughts for $250 an hour, $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour, or a $200 training program, a $500 training program these days. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of junk out there too. But that's the where you guys have to decipher who's who. But at the end of the day, you can go buy somebody's coaching call for $250 or $500 or $1,000 an hour. Like that's insane. And so by the way, just to give you some credit, you were investing in yourself. You were spending hours and hours and hours at the library. And by the way, that's some great stuff that you can find in paper form in a book. In a book, just so you younger guys listening in, is when they take part of the internet and they print it off. And then they put it together in one little folder. It's called a book, and I'm just having fun. I'm just having some fun. But man,
YouTube's a good resource too. So
YouTube is dude. YouTube is great. But the old school like landscaping, horticulture books that you learn at a college or professor that might have on his personal desk. I mean, some of those things for plant identification and planting techniques. There's a bunch of that stuff that is really, really helpful that you can get for free at libraries or check them out. I mean, or find some of these old school books on Amazon and they're giving them away for $5. So if you really get serious about this stuff in the off season, get a bunch of books. Luke Meyer, he's a really good buddy of mine. Luke picked up a bunch of these books, and he's always reading and going to different classes and stuff. Like, when there's a Equip Expo, go to the training tracks, they call them. Don't just, oogle over equipment. So I just wanted to double down on that, because I get that question all the time, Caleb. Hey, how do you learn to run a business? How do you learn? I'm like, you learn. Like it's the thousands of hours behind the scenes, literally, folks, the hundreds and thousands of hours learning. And like you said, watching a YouTube video at 10 o'clock at night for 10 minutes and watching 3 more on the same topic. I mean, you got to learn, and you don't get fit watching somebody else work out. So you have to put in the reps, is what I always say. And Caleb, you're doing it. I'm excited for you, man. You got a bunch of great stuff going on. You seem like a really, really cool dude, and I hope to follow your progress over the next couple of years. And after you get out of high school, the gate's going to be wide open, and whether you go to college or you go full time, it's going to be cool to see all those transitions. So we're going to keep tabs on you, man, and keep watching, and wish you all the continued success. All right.
Yep. Same to you. I appreciate it.
Awesome, brother. All right, guys. Well, we're going to button up right here. We super appreciate Caleb being a guest on the show. Guys, give him a follow. He's on Instagram at Yellow Hat Lawnmowers, and we really appreciate him, checking everything out, and, just sharing his pearls of wisdom. So appreciate, again, you guys listening into the show Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week, guys, without fail. So let's do this. We're going to button up. I'm going to go get another sip of my Uptime with the slanted pop top that didn't turn on all the way, and I have sticky Uptime all over my leg. So I got to go wipe that off, and we will catch up with you guys here on the next one. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brian. Really quick, I just wanted to let you guys know that Launchpreneur Academy Live 2022 is a go, and tickets are selling out fast. One thing I want to help you guys out with is getting your business to the next level. That is my mission with all the content that we put out with YouTube, Instagram, the podcast, and so much more. Well, the best way to do it is to learn from some of the best in the industry. And in my opinion, that's going to be at Launchpreneur Academy Live this November 12th, Saturday. It's a one-day conference up here in Novi, Michigan. Over the years, we've sold tickets to these events, and they always pack out. This year, I wanted to totally sell out the event by the end of September. Can you guys help me out? Can we do sold out September where you guys get your ticket? Last year, we sold 40% of our tickets in the last 3 to 4 weeks of the event, which we'll take it, and we appreciate it. It'd be nice to know that we have the 400 tickets sold by the end of September, and the event is sold out or close to being sold out months in advance. How about that? That way we're not sitting around wondering how many catalogs do we need, what's the food order going to be, and all that other fun stuff. Long story short, guys, one thing I say on the podcast a lot is some people treat a crumb like a feast, and other people treat a feast like a crumb. Which one are you going to be? If you guys can help me out, I want to have you there. Get your ticket to LAL. Go to launchpreneuracademy.com/store. Go under the store section to buy your ticket and get one for you, get one for your foreman, maybe get one for your spouse, your girlfriend, your fiance, and come on up to Novi, Michigan and check out this one-day conference. We've got guys like James Mansky coming in, who's going to help you guys grow your business. Mike Andes, Nick Carlson, Paver Pete, Mark Bradley, the founder and owner of LMN, and so much more. Guys, we'd love to host you up here in Novi, Michigan. Get your hotel rooms, get your tickets, come up there, check this thing out, and get your ticket here secured in the month of September. By the way, October 1st, the price does go up $50 to $249 a ticket, so why wait? Get your ticket today for $197, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.